And I would say with what I do know for a fact, not alleged, but DJ Khaled is bisexual. And Jay-Z has also participated in bisexual activities.
Would you want to say allegedly for your safety?
There's no, I would say allegedly, if it was allegedly. DJ Khaled, 100% has been involved in, he's bisexual. The reason why I left, because the whole was gay. RZA is bisexual. Sway Calloway is bisexual. Who else was out there? DJ Khaled was bisexual. It was like one big, gay party that was all like closeted and like weird. That's why I left.
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
So I just watched the most groundbreaking interview of the year. And when I say groundbreaking, the measurement or the standard that I'm going by is truth. When I say the most groundbreaking, yes, I'm including the Cat Williams interview. I'm considering that interview as well. This interview is easily more groundbreaking than that interview for a few reasons. Normally what a person looks for when a person is talking about things that they've seen, things that they've witnessed, things that they know, that's exposing celebrities, exposing the industry, exposing politicians and people that run this country. They look for credibility. Who are you? Are you affiliated with these people? Are you seen in pictures? Have you worked with them? Do you have proof? And this person 100% does, and 100% showed some of it in this interview. And I anticipate that this interview will go viral. I think this would be one of those interviews that need a little bit more time to bubble. And by a little bit more time, I'm saying like maybe give it like a week and a half, and I think it's going to take off. Only because this channel has about 300,000 subscribers, which is a lot. It's a channel called Truth Is. You all should go and check it out. I've been following that channel for at least 2-3 years now. But the Shannon Sharpe brand is much larger, so it was easier for the Cat Williams Shannon Sharpe collaboration to come together and blow up. But what this person talked about is far more groundbreaking, right? It's a guy by the name of Jonathan Hayes, who's an industry publicist. He's been a publicist for Boosie. He's been a publicist for Drake, Drake's baby mama, Sophia, I believe is her name. He's worked with DJ Khaled. He's worked with Sway. I believe his real name is Sway Callahan. A lot of you all may know him as Sway in the Morning. He's worked with all of these people. RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan. He's worked with a lot of these folks, and it's documented. And he's been in the industry for at least 25, 30 years. It's important that I show this interview for a couple of reasons. On this channel, I've spent quite a bit of time, probably not enough time though, exposing the music industry and talking about the importance of music. How music is the only form of media that can infiltrate the subconscious without a person's permission, because of the form that it comes in, right? I also talk about the importance of music in the sense of who they target in the music industry. They don't target people like you and I. They're targeting much younger people so that they can normalize certain behaviors and certain ways of thinking. Why is this also important? Not just because of the music industry in itself, but because of what's much larger at stake here, right? Because if they're very orchestrated and strategic and intentional about what they're doing in the music industry and why they're doing it, and it ties to the politicians, what are they doing on the grand scale of things, right? From politics, from the people that run this country, from policies that's passed, right? From the things that they push on social media, the whole existence of social media to begin with, right? So before I digress too much, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for being here. Man, let's tap into this.
And you made a living off of promoting that type of music, promoting rap, promoting hip hop, promoting anything with violence in it. For you to even say, "Oh, I'm gonna turn around from this and go a different way," that shows that God already had an impact on you. Because at that moment, you had a moment of clarity. You realized, things are getting dark, and this is the reason, because I've involved myself in this.
Correct. Yeah. Yes.
Now, I want to get into some important things that you said in the interview, specifically that the man you have behind you.
Mm-hmm.
In the interview you did with Jaguar Wright, you messaged me and you told me that Jaguar claimed that she believed Drake was somehow involved in this home invasion situation.
That's correct. So I was working with two people. I was working with Boosie Badass, and I was working with Drake. And I was working with Drake through a situation that I can't talk about so freely. But yes, I was involved in the situation with Drake that is out there really heavy in the media. So when she said that, because 3 people pled guilty.
Did Drake hire you directly, or was it Drake's baby mother?
It was Drake's baby mother. And then it was also when it's like she hires me and then I'm working for Drake and I'm dealing with his lawyer and stuff like that.
And I know you can, like you said, you can't release what
Both.
you were working with him for, essentially.
Both.
But this is around what time? What year?
This was right when the home invasion, 2017.
2017, around that time. Okay.
April.
Okay, continue. Sorry about that. Just wanted
to... Yeah, so I was working with both.
All right.
But I never thought that, Drake, because as I said, 3 people pled guilty and went to prison. But weird things would keep happening with law enforcement. Weird things that were very powerful, right? That were unexplainable, because there was another person that for sure should have been indicted. And this other person was dating one of the people who went to prison.
Is that why Jaguar Wright thinks that Drake might have something to do with it?
Jaguar Wright said so because she had found something on the dark web, because she's been through some trauma herself, is what led her to believe that. When she said that in an interview, it was completely shocking for me, because I never even thought that. I knew that I was dealing with something so powerful. And it's not like Drake would I don't think Drake would, contact somebody and say that. But it's his, like, he's so powerful and he generates so much money that, like I said, they have handlers, they have managers, they have lawyers, they have stuff. Somebody was doing something, and I don't want to say him at all, right? Because I don't necessarily, believe that, but somebody connected to him for sure. So, but then something else happened. Somebody who watched the interview pointed out Drake's lyrics to the song. If you want to pull them up, you can.
N-word scared to come towards us, gotta run from us. Louisville, hush money for my young gunners.
Okay, let's stop there. There. The Louisville hush money. I was in Louisville. That's very far from Toronto or anything else I had. It's a small town, Louisville, Kentucky. And he says, Louisville. Well, what does he say after that?
Hush money for my young gunners.
And the hush money would be probably the situation with his baby mama. Was you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay. And then he says the Gunners. It was an armed robbery.
Yeah.
And then he says,
pick Patinos. I take them to strip clubs and casinos. Stack of C notes. Get all your N-words scratched like Primo.
So getting scratched, obviously he's getting killed.
Mm-hmm.
The strippers are, and the casinos are, when I gave him my debit cards, because we're just trying to survive. And so I gave him, like, my right PIN number.
Yeah.
And my credit card, because I remember the police were like, well, why would you do that? Because I'm thinking, well, maybe he's going to go right down the street in St. Matthews and make sure that the PIN number works. And so then he's going to come back and tell us, because there was 2 people in there.
Exactly.
Right? So they took it and it worked. They went to a strip club, which was so stupid because they're on camera using my card. That's how they got their ID. And then they went across the bridge to the casino.
Yeah, and look, don't get me wrong. I expose artists all the time, and Drake is one of the artists that I've spent a lot of time on investigating. And when the whole XXX Tentacion situation happened, no one can prove he had any involvement in it or not, but it was the same thing as this. It's like he wanted people to believe he was involved with the lyrics that he had. He had specific lyrics that were targeting X, and almost like bragging about taking him out, whether he had something to do with it or not.
Exactly.
But he definitely is a clever man, and he is the type of person who does everything, you know, hidden. He sneak disses. It's the way he operates. He doesn't address it directly. He likes to sneak this. He likes to add little coded terms and coded messages. And like you said, in that interview, I heard you state that you were working with his baby mom.
Mm-hmm.
He, for some reason, believed that you were involved in that information about Adonis, his son, being leaked. And maybe it's the reason why a person like Drake would be upset at a publicist like you, who was the one that the label was working with or his management was working with. And who knows, he could have 100% made a call and got something like this done. You know, I wouldn't put it past Drake.
He could have, but I think it's exactly what you said. And I'm glad you said that and pointed that out, because it's been like, jarring my head since you said that. Not only Drake, but other powerful people, because I was up against a powerful entity for sure. Like, I think it's the latter, because Louisville hush money, like, that's he doesn't have Louisville hush money anywhere else. And I'm not saying that he gave me, Louisville hush money. I don't want to say that, but people can kind of come to the conclusion. But Louisville hush money is very straightforward, and coming with guns and then doing something and then going to strip club and casino, which is exactly where they went. And the police thought they were so stupid to go to a strip club and a casino. Right. So it's all very strange. And I think he was mad probably because I was blamed for the Pusha T thing. But then that was like immediate. That was like after that happened, with this baby mama, because the relationship is, I was working with Saha the Prince forever. Saha the Prince is like Kanye West's main writer. If you look up Saha the Prince, his real name is Sidell Young. And if you look at Kanye, a lot of Kanye West's writing credits are from Sidell Young. He was signed to Good Music, and he worked directly under Pusha T. And Saha the Prince has been like my friend and somebody I've worked with for over 10 years, right? At the point. Yeah. So people thought that because nobody else knew that she was pregnant with Drake's baby, right? And all the information that came out in the Pusha T diss, a lot of people felt that was me from telling Saha, who told Pusha T. And I can tell you the honest to God truth, just as I told them, I never told Pusha T one thing about it. I mean, I never told Saha the Prince one thing about it. We never even talked about it. We've never even had conversations like that. We would just collaborate on stuff. Like, it wasn't like he was a friend, but he's not somebody that I'm going to confide in. I don't even think
a business friend.
Yeah. I don't think he knew about the home invasion. We never talked about it. Right. So they just assume, because it's like, where did this information come from? So maybe Drake, when he was dropping that Sandra Rose album, and that's the Scorpion album cover behind me, where the Sandra Rose album is. I mean, what the Sandra Rose song is, maybe that was him letting me know, like, ha ha ha,
showing his power. No, I get exactly what you're saying. And if for the audience, as I already explained earlier in the video, the pattern is there. It all lines up perfectly. If Drake possibly thought you were the only person with this information, or, the only person that could have leaked this information, in his mind, I see it intimidation towards you, a way to say, you did something I don't like, now you're going to pay for it. Did it happen after or before?
I was working with Drake during when it happened.
Okay, so and then the information was leaked.
The Pusha T disc came out after, 3-4 months afterwards.
3-4 months afterwards. But there was talks maybe behind the scene or something, correct?
Correct.
Okay. To me, I personally, and a lot of people on this channel have seen that these artists, they operate on their own set of rules. And then they do specific things like this, where they will taunt you. They will say things, because even with the Drake, with the X situation, where he had lyrics about giving Louis bags full of money for body bags, and Triple X Tentacion, when he passed away, he had a Louis bag in his car, and that's what the people who took him out basically took from him.
So the first thing I think is important to talk about with this interview is his connections to a lot of these people. And he talks about how he became a publicist and all these things and how at some point in time he was involved in a home invasion, which is also public record. He was involved in a home invasion, and how people around him was telling him who was affiliated with this. But the interview is about an hour and a half long, so I don't want to spend too much time, covering the entire interview. But some of the most notable things I think we should really focus on is when he's asked about, number one, he's asked about Jay-Z, DJ Khaled, Sway Callahan, Drake, who he all confirms to be bisexual.
You are not at the level of Jay-Z, so they had no issues with throwing you, under the bus and blaming it on you. And if they say if it's all a rumor, then it's all a rumor, and everyone's going to go with that story because nobody wants to believe it. Nobody wants to believe that their idols are evil or their idols are doing anything wrong. So they're already coping and making excuses for it, even when the evidence is in their face. And it's a lot of people saying that Jay-Z, like you said, is next. Do you believe Jay-Z is next, though?
I do.
But how, in what sense? Do you think that they will allow a person like Jay-Z to be taken from his position? Because it looks like they're clearing Diddy's spot to give it to him.
That's a good point. But I think what you should look in and maybe flash the lyrics on the screen to that is the song that he did with Foxy Brown on his debut album, and which was in 1996. She was a minor, and listen to the content that a grown man is having with a minor, and just read the lyrics. It's "Ain't no player" is the clean version, and the explicit version is "Ain't no N-word." And this is an adult doing a song with a minor. I think she was 14, 15, 16 at the oldest, with that kind of lyrical content is absolutely crazy.
Even Nas, and you can say Nas was just dissing Jay-Z, but Nas specifically stated that Jay-Z and R. Kelly were doing the same thing with the same girls that were at the studio together, and that's a strong accusation. But let's be honest, it's like what they're saying now about Drake. Oh, Drake's into the minors. If you have been following Drake loves to rap about hooking up with 18, 19, as young as he can. That's what he legally states. But if you're aiming for an 18-year-old at 36, you're not going to compromise at a 17-year-old, a 16-year-old. It wouldn't matter. It's the same thing. What's the difference between a 16 and an 18-year-old besides the fact that they're legal? But they're both still teenagers, and they're both still extremely young and undeveloped, mentally at least, Okay. And would you say that there's another P. Diddy in the industry or more P. Diddy's in the industry from your time at the industry?
P Diddy he's a one-on-one. Like the fact that we call him P Diddy and Puff Daddy and Puffy and Sean Combs and all the different variations. He's a one-on-one with like his like level of freak offs, and his was like he did it for so long because he's doing it out in the open. He's got a 40-foot bed in his backyard, and people are jumping on it, and he's having these freak off parties with like a lot of people involved, and then they got bigger and bigger. Like they found thousands of bottles of like lubricant, literally
baby oil.
Yeah, so like I think he was just all out in the open, like I can do whatever I want. I think the other people that are doing it are much more careful, much more calculated, and are much more wicked.
So they're in there. That's exactly my question. My question is there more people that you believe
Yes.
that are still behaving like Diddy,
Yeah.
but understand this?
And I would say with what I do know for a fact, not alleged, but DJ Khaled is bisexual. And Jay-Z has also participated in bisexual activities.
Would you want to say allegedly for your safety?
I would say allegedly if it was allegedly. DJ Khaled 100% has been involved in he's bisexual. I did a show called One Shot, and he was in Miami, and he was open with the guy that he was with. He was gay, and I don't understand what happens there because nobody said anything to me like, hey, make sure you don't, go out and say this on record. Make sure you don't say this, da-da-da-da-da. So it's weird that would still be hidden. That seems like that should be a fact that DJ Khaled at least in 2016, was definitely bisexual.
Okay, and we're gonna.
And Jay-Z is without question bisexual.
Okay, I agree with you. I know I
Jay-Z's mom is gay.
Jay-Z's mother.
Yeah, she's gay openly.
Okay, I'll have nothing against any person's preference, but in the industry, they like to hide this, specifically in hip hop. They're trying to make this normal now. They're trying to push it on so it could be more accepted within the hip hop community. But the reason why they would want to keep this from the public is because they're pushing this gangster, tough guy, manly of all men persona. And if it were to come out that they were not the manly of men, so I think that's the reason why they hide it. But I 100% believe that these people are bisexual, gay, and I believe that, like I said, the Freemasons, they don't see themselves as men. They see themselves as gods. That's what the 33rd degree literally represents. It represents enlightenment. It represents reaching the level of a god. And most people will say that God is genderless, even though in Christianity, God is a man, essentially a man type of being. But in the Kabbalist way that they look at these things, they see man and woman as one. It's called the great androgyne. If I'm mispronouncing it, I'm sorry. But it's alchemy in the sense where the femininity and the masculinity come together to create one being, which is a god. And that's literally what Masonry teaches. So I wouldn't be surprised if 90% of these people in the industry at the level of Jay-Z, Drake, Kendrick Lamar, Kanye West, all of these people at the top, if they're into this kind of thing, because I personally believe, and I've personally proven hundreds of times, that you just cannot get to that level without being a part of that club. Would you agree with that?
I definitely would agree.
Great.
And listen, as you're saying this, and I'm thinking about the DJ Khaled situation, that TV show, it's on BET right now. It's called One Shot. And I left. There's like stories out there where I left One Shot. And I said that I left One Shot because I was reunited with my birth parents. And that's not really, I mean, that is the truth. But the reason why I left, because the whole was gay. RZA is bisexual. Sway Calloway is bisexual. Who else was out there? DJ Khaled was bisexual. It was like one big, gay party that was all like closeted and like weird. That's why I left, because for the exact same things that you said, like people have their own preferences. People have their own beliefs. I know a lot of people. So I know a lot of, gay Christians. And then I know a lot of people like the church that my family started that would be like, there's no way that you could be a gay Christian. There's no way that you could be gay and also be a Christian at the same time. And I've done projects that are, supportive of LGBT, but it was all out in the open. The One Shot thing that I did with DJ Khaled and Sway Calloway and RZA of the Wu-Tang Clan was also gay and also hidden, and it was annoying and it was so weird because it's everything that you're talking about. Just like, be gay. Like,
I'm going to say it again. He confirms that all of these people are bisexual. Also, Rick Ross, bisexual. Now, before somebody hop in the comment section and say, oh my gosh, why is that so important? Why do you all care so much about what another person is doing in the privacy of their own bedroom? Why do you care who they're attracted to? You all are missing the forest for the trees. This is not about if a person is really one way when they're another way. It's not about that. It's about what's the bigger picture here. If you got a person like Drake, if you got a person like Rick Ross, DJ Khaled, who, by the way, Jonathan Hayes says in this interview, it was open information that DJ Khaled was a bisexual man. He also says that Sway Callahan from Sway in the Morning is a bisexual man. He says that RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan is a bisexual man. He says that Jay-Z is a bisexual man. This is important to note for a few reasons. You have people in 2024 like Lil Nas X, like Frank Ocean. You have, I forget the other guy who was having beef with DJ Academics earlier this year. You have openly gay men who are in the industry. You say, well, in 2024, no one cares, but they do. Because I want you to just consider something. If you have people in the industry who are actually bisexual and have participated in bisexual situations like P. Diddy, he says that P. Diddy is bisexual, which I don't think is hard for anybody, especially a lot of you, I don't want to say simple-minded, but a lot of you people who don't look into things a lot deeper than just the physical and look at it from a spiritual perspective. I think it was obvious for years that this man was bisexual. But if you in a time where people don't care and it's acceptable, but and you still choose to not be open about it publicly.
I know Lil Nas X is like, so like, I don't like any of his music, right? I don't, but he's out there and open. And do you want to talk about like dark, wild stuff that he's promoting? Like, he seems like he's, satanic as they come. Frank Ocean.
You see, what you're mentioning though, that you're mentioning the people that they're putting in place to try to normalize this within hip hop.
Right.
You do see that, right?
Yes.
Lil Nas X, his purpose was to bring down that barrier. His purpose is to make it normal, not for the generations where you come from or the generations where I come from, because they're not going to turn. That's not going to work with them. But it's for the new generation that's emerging now.
But you aren't open about it in your music, and your music don't reflect it. In fact, your music, like a Jay-Z, has notoriously reflected the street lifestyle, gangster lifestyle, tough guy, promoting drug use, disrespecting women, the whole worldly lifestyle. If you got a person like Drake, who maybe for some of you it's a lot easier for you to believe that, but that's even interesting to think about, because even though Drake goes out his way to put on fingernail polish and all these different things that he's been doing, yet and still this man has never come out and said that he likes men, ever. Portrays himself to be a heterosexual man. What does that implicate? It implicates something deeper. And that's the validity, the credible argument that Freemasons run the industry. And Freemasons run the industry, and I'm under the belief that they run the country. It implicates something a lot deeper. And that's also something else they talked about in this interview.
At any moment, did you see do you know what the Freemasons are?
Yes.
Would you say that there's Freemasons involved in the music industry?
Yes.
Okay, see, that right there should prove to many people alone that you're being 100% honest, because most people in the industry aren't going to say that.
Right.
Most people in the industry are afraid of this question, or they act like they don't even know what the Masons are. Now,
but they show the symbolism so clearly.
Yeah, of course. And that's my next question. Do you believe people like P. Diddy, Jay-Z, Beyonce, do you believe they're members of either the Freemasons or other occult organizations?
That's why I think Diddy's a one-on-one, because I don't really think that he was. He was like his own occult. And kind of like what you said, maybe he made somebody upset or something. Like Diddy's always been kind of like a lone ranger, a lone wolf, right?
He uses the same symbolism though.
Right, but Jay-Z, you're right. But Jay-Z, yes, 100%.
Okay, good. Are you a Freemason by chance?
No.
Okay, good. I just got it. These are the questions so that my audience would trust you, and this is important to know. Jay-Z is definitely a Freemason. Diddy is 100% a Freemason. His the same man that I was telling you about, the guy who was interviewed inside of the jail by the police. He was interviewed in a interrogation room, and he was interrogated. And this is literally what he said. He said P. Diddy, Rick Ross, and DJ Khaled. He said they're all gay, and he said that they're all a part of the Bole Masonic organization.
Diddy and Ross, which are good buddies. Okay, they're gay.
Who?
Both. Diddy and Ross and Khaled, they're all gay. Okay?
DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, and P. Diddy?
Yeah.
They're all gay?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I know you may or may not, I know you're gonna believe me. You have what's called the Illuminati. How do I know this?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. How do you know this?
You know Sean Combs?
Puff Daddy?
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever you call himself these days. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's part of what's called the Boule. The Boule is a branch of the Illuminati.
Okay.
Which is essentially, it's a fraternity, a black fraternity within Freemasonry.
Another big thing to consider when you're listening to this person talk it's not like we're talking about a person who's no longer in the industry. So they're bitter, they're scorned, they're upset, right? They're angry, they have a bone to pick with people. No, he's admitted in this interview he's still in the industry. You say, well, one, why would you come out openly with your face on camera and talk about this? Are you not afraid for your life? Are you not afraid from a legal perspective from being sued? He said no, because he's already reached out and he's talked to the representatives of these people and he's told them, listen, there are certain things in place. If anything happens to me, these other things will take place.
Going back to the Drake situation, I also feel that Drake might have had something to do with what happened to you, for sure.
Mhm.
Do you believe that Drake would want to retaliate against you because of what you're saying now?
No,
Why do you say that?
because it's too much out in the open at this point. And I know too much, and I've told his representatives, like, if anything were to happen, other stuff is going to happen to reveal information. I know too much. I got exposed to too much information with text messages and videos and voice notes recording and everything else that I didn't ask for any of that, information. I didn't ask for any of that stuff. So I'm not worried about Drake. I'm not worried about Jay-Z. I'm not worried about any of these people anymore.
And
Because I realized that my mother told me a long time ago, if I'm not using my gifts to glorify God, then I'm never going to be truly blessed. So I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And this has happened organically. And these interviews have happened organically. And these things have happened organically. I wasn't seeking any of this. This has just happened because this is what God is pushing me to do. And that's not only what I feel, that's what I know, because it's happening, right? So I'm not scared of that at all. If I would, I wouldn't be speaking.
that was beautifully said.
So in this interview, as groundbreaking as the things that he talks about in this interview is, he doesn't even share everything that he knows, because at that point he wouldn't have leverage. He's openly said that. So that makes, not only is he credible in the sense of it's proven that he works with a lot of these people. You can easily Google it. It's proof that he's still in the industry. But now he's given a solid reason as to why he's doing this. Because it's like you could be a double agent, bro. Right? Working for the other side while pretending to be on one side. I don't think that he is. Use your human instincts and just use your basic observation skills. And you tell me, from one human being to the next, when you look at this man talk and you listen to what he's saying, you tell me if it looks like he's lying. You tell me if it sounds like he's lying. If that man don't sound sincere, nobody has ever sounded sincere. A lot of things that a lot of people said in the comment section, which is something I was thinking about, was, well, if you're exposing these people on camera and they understand that if something happens to you, you have other things in place, videos and pictures and proof and voice notes to expose these people, like really expose them and expose larger things that's happening in the industry, why would you have a picture of Drake on your wall? That seems a little weird. And by little, I mean a lot weird. A person that you believe that could potentially have been behind a home invasion for exposing to Pusha T by the way of Saha the Prince, the artist, who is Kanye West's ghostwriter, open knowledge, open information. Why would you have this person on your wall? And he openly says in the interview, well, he's not even for sure if Drake's done it. But also, you got to think about it from this perspective. He is a publicist. And this is one of the biggest accomplishments in his life. Like, he worked with Drake. And he was able to contribute to a project for Drake. So I could understand just from an empathetic perspective why he would have that up. But he could also have it up as a signal to anybody who sees this interview, the right people that see this interview, that he knows what he's talking about and that he's standing on it. One of the most important parts of the interview was towards the end, when Truth Is asked Jonathan, hey, where can people find you at? Give him your social media. And instead of telling people where to find him at, he just simply said, nah, man, follow God. That's solid, bro. Like, I don't know what he has to gain from this other than risking his livelihood, right? When you think about credibility, when you think about some of the groundbreaking information, I haven't seen an interview this year that tops that. Have you all seen this interview? Are you all familiar with this person, Jonathan Hay, Jaguar Wright, who he also did a co-interview with not too long ago?
Well, did he start snitching?
He better. But the only thing I'm interested in him talking about is everything he knows about Kathy Coriana White, Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died 24 hours after she announced that she was going public with their relationship and the baby while he was married to Beyonce. See, I know you know what happened to Corey. Diddy, you and Jay-Z. Down in Vegas in Tao with Claudia. Why don't you just talk about Kathy? That might help.
Now,
Was
Jack,
it an aneurysm, Diddy? Or are you the one who paid the same coroner that you... Oh, Diddy, you should talk.
Hop in the comment section. Give me your thoughts, man. The year of 2024 has been strange, especially considering everything that's happening with P. Diddy and all the evidence that's come out. It's been crazy, man. It's been crazy. Like, the next 3 months, the hits on Donald Trump's life, or even if those are even actually real, I think the next 3 months, I think we're in for a surprise, man. I think it's some much bigger things that's about to happen. And I'm not even afraid. You know, I'm here for the ride, bro. As all these truths are revealed, because again, you got to look at it bigger than just people's sexuality. You got to look at it from a bigger perspective. If you people are really bisexual and you all are participating in these rituals and a part of these occults and these, you know, secret orders, what's your real purpose? Who sent you here? Why do they have you in positions of power? Right? So hop in the comment section, man. Give me your thoughts, man. Till next time. Peace.
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.